Hi there everyone, excuse the mess. This is going to be a quick public service announcement on this TPA3116 amplifier module. It's also going to serve the purpose of convincing the refund squad at Banggood that this really is a piece of shit. And yeah, so let's get into it. So I'm feeding 24 volts into it, which is kind of the maximum you'd go for. So the chip is rated up to 26 volts. This is well below it. It's actually 23 volts, so I'm pretty sure people are going to ask and want to see it. So let's quickly probe around and show that it is in fact 23 volts and that I am not lying. And fair enough, 23 volts. And the supply is not noisy. There's no problem. This is a pretty good quality power supply. And the problems I'm gonna showcase happen on all the power supply and all supplies, and also on lithium-ion batteries. So irrespective of the power supplies are not the problem in any case. The problem is, surprisingly enough, also not the chip. Right, the design of the TPA3116 is incredible. It's blown me away on how powerful it is. The problem is this board uses inadequate components, and also the designers completely didn't understand how to power up the TPA chip. And so the two following things happen even on idle. So at least for the past minute and a half I haven't played anything, so it should have cooled down had there been a load issue, which there isn't. So here's a receipt. This is thermal paper, right? So works kind of like this, right? You warm it up, it goes black. So the inductors are that hot that you can actually mark this paper with them. So check this out. So I can barely hold my fingers on, and you can see it is coloring the paper. So these are scorching hot. You can't actually, I can barely touch them, but more than this, and yeah, you're cooking your finger. Right, so this is clearly an issue. And so what this does is, let's bring in the next exhibit. At 24 volts, 23, well, let's call it 24, right? I'm getting a current draw of 200 milliamps. So let's say 250, and let's call it 24 volts. And so that's going to be around 6 watts of power that I'm wasting away on absolutely no output. Right, absolutely no output. So all of this is getting burnt onto the chokes, and I can actually feel the heat right at this height. So they really are going at it. And those in turn do make the TPA chips also heat, which is why they need this heatsink, because normally wouldn't really need it. So a proper design, these chips run insanely cool and are very efficient. Right, so the second problem is the biggest out of the two. So if you thought this, like pissing away 6 watts is a big deal, check this one out. So the problem is they're not powering the chip up appropriately, is what I'm assuming at the moment. So I haven't gone too deep into it, but I've checked a few forums and not a lot of people seem to encounter this. So this apparently is probably a new design, because also on Banggood not a lot of people complained about this. So I would assume that they changed the board layout or the supplier, and yeah, got these shitty ones in, and that's why there's no negative comments, because I haven't actually seen, I have no reason to believe that Banggood actually deletes the negative comments, but who knows, right? So I will definitely be putting one in for this particular product listing, and yeah, I might even check if it stays up. Alright, so the second problem, getting onto it, sorry for the little excursion. So now we're powered up, right? It does play, it is connected. So it works, right, relatively okay, right? There's no actual issue with the amplifier side, right? So it seemingly works fine, but again, right, never mind. Right, so the problem is, the biggest problem I'm having with this is at power up, where basically, and also at shutdown, you probably heard it. I will show you guys that again in a moment. The problem is the chip isn't powered up properly, and so basically it acts as a pass-through on power up. So basically it shoves 24 volts at whatever this can do, and this has quite some output caps. So shoves all of that into my speakers, which are 6 ohms each. So all of these three are 6 ohms. So basically shoves the 24 volts into that. I won't even do the math to see how much current they're going through it, is going through it. Through them. Yeah, terrible English at this time. It is around about 12, so yeah. Alright, so the problem is, when you power up, as I've said, it basically shorts the input to the speakers, and it looks kind of frightening, so I hope I won't have to do this many times. Alright, so it does kind of that. And then it does work, it's fine. But again, that alone, so either of the two issues alone would be enough to not use this in any product, any build, anything. So when you unplug it, it also shorts out the output. So somehow the logic supply, so the 5 volts or whatever this uses for the brains of the TPA chips, goes out first, and then it basically leaves everything open, or closed, should I say. So on shutdown, it also does this, which is also highly uncool, to put it lightly. So yeah, that is pretty much all. And yeah, so do look out for this particular board and do not buy it. Have a good one, guys.